how this is being interpreted in the mind of the Libra person that resonates with this is that I put in so much time, energy, effort into so many things, but it never ever works out for me, no matter what I do. No matter how much money I try to save, something always happens and I end up losing my money. No matter how much I try to work on myself, it's like someone always comes into my life and hurts me. No matter how many people I trust, they always backstab me. No matter how many jobs I get, they always fire me. No matter how many new cars I buy, they always break down. All of my friends stab me in the back and betray me. Every time I help someone, they always take me for granted or take advantage of me. Every single time I get so far, the rug gets pulled from under me. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your December soul session. I am Princess India, if you are new, and if you are family, welcome back, my friend. Oh my God. It would not or whatever. I don't know why I continue to do that. But anywho, if you're not familiar with what my soul sessions are, they are your spirituality as well as personal development readings in which we take a gander at the energies, okay, that you guys may encounter for the month. We do this for the purpose of giving you guys clarity, advice, and all that good stuff. But we have one card that fell out. It fell face down, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick the rest of your cards. So we'll allow that to be your central energy. Then we have your challenge, your past influence, your future possibilities, your above energy, as well as your below energy. And as always, we're going to go ahead and start with what is at the bottom of the deck, my friends. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups in the reverse. So, my wonderful Librans, the undergirding energy that you guys have for the month of December, it's looking like a little bit of disappointment, a little solitary energy. It could be a tad bit of loneliness, which is to be expected sometimes during the holiday season. My single people or, you know, people who have lost someone have a tendency to not sometimes feel as festive. But the first word, well, turn of phrase, if you will, that comes to me is down in the dumps, right? Now, this is not saying that you guys are going to be like, if you're, you know, impossibly happy, you know what I mean? Like, and, you know, you're gleaning from the excitement in your life and things of the sort. This is not a foretelling of that happiness somehow being siphoned out or something of the sort. This would more or less be a telltale sign of whether or not you would resonate with this. So if you guys are feeling kind of down in the dumps, that would be the undergirding energy. The stuff that's contributing to that is more than likely a sense of loneliness or a disconnect from other people, if you will. Now, your underlying energy is the World in the reverse. So we're talking about unfinished business. That's the card that fell out. This is challenged by the 10 of coins in the reverse. That's interesting. Libra, I feel like this has a lot to do with family. I don't know if maybe you guys could be in another city away from friends and family members, but it's almost, how can I put this? It's almost like a vibe of, and I don't want to sound redundant, because the world reverse, of course, is unfinished business, but we're talking about things that are left undone, things that are left unsaid, things that feel off kilter. The biggest challenge this month is you guys lack thereof a feeling as if you have like a nest egg or a foundation or like a family unit of some sort, but not necessarily. It's different for each of you. Some of you, it could be like family of origin and a distance from them. It can be money troubles. It can be wanting to be in a relationship and actually have like your own family. But the whole thing with this is this energy is kind of orienting me towards your past energy. And we're going to turn over that card in a second. But the whole thing is when I say unfinished business, it's not just necessarily pointing to, because this is like question and answer at the same time. What I know already, with this world in the reverse is, even though you're feeling like there's things left unsaid or things left undone or unfulfilled is really the word I would want to say. What I would undergird that with is unfinished business. So the whole reason why you guys may be feeling kind of down in the dumps or not necessarily festive, or may not really want to be around people and do, like, you know, the atypical holiday kind of stuff, would be because of this feeling of not being on a stable foundation or not having that family that you desire or what have you. And it's kind of feeling like you missed out on some stuff, like in life in general, or you're not where it is that you want to be, but it's orienting to the past, right? So what I would say about it orienting to the past and taking all of this into account is that there are loose ends that need to be tied up that have not. So it's almost like a perpetuation of a cycle, if you will. Now, for my people who are Cancer, for my people who are Scorpio, Libra, Cusp people, I would feel this a lot for you guys, because we spoke a lot in Scorpio of like a habit that's being broken in so many words. So what I feel is it's kind of what is contributing to this feeling you guys are feeling in December has a lot to do with something that's being perpetuated in your past that needs to come to the fore in order for you guys to turn all of this around. Because I always take into account, like, cards are in reverse, but just because they're in reverse does not mean that they're negative. It just means that the energy is blocked and it's pointing to you know, the individual. So it's like an internal struggle that's affecting how this is manifesting externally. You know what I mean? So all of this is kind of pointing me to what happened in the past, which has a lot to do with the Five of Swords, which is wonderful. So you guys past influence, which you're coming into December with, and I'm so sorry, Libra, I'm having flashbacks of a reading I did for you guys in 2018, because I'm over explaining already, and it's just because my comments have just been something else entirely. Oh my goodness. But just throwing that out there, I'm just trying to clarify for people so they don't get confused. But anywho, when we're looking at the Five of Swords here, we're looking at the energy that you guys are coming into the month with. And Five of Swords is speaking to a sense of conflict and defeat. So it's more or less there's some sort of challenge that you guys endured in November or the latter part of November coming into December. And it's coming in with a mindset of being defeated, right? Now, again, going back to this world in the reverse, and I have to stress the importance of mindset here. And this is a theme that's come up for a lot of people. It was very prevalent in the Capricorn reading, where I talked about this sense of blindness, and Libra, with you guys being the last sign that I'm doing for all of the soul sessions. I can really speak in full with you all going all the way back to Sagittarius. The consistent theme I have seen with all signs, and I'm seeing with you all too, is it's stressing the importance of your mental faculties, your mind, your self-concept, your core beliefs, right? With your conditioning in life, your perspective on yourself, your perspective on the world, your perspective on yourself in relation to the world, and needing to understand how important it is, how you perceive life, how you perceive yourself, what you believe about life. All of these things are more or less like glasses that you're looking through. So if you think about a person who wears eyeglasses, without the glasses on, this person can't see. They put these lenses on to correct their vision so that they can see, right? But with our perspectives and all of these other intricate parts of our mental faculties, it's like how glasses work in the reverse. So it's like having 20/20 vision, right? And everything you've endured in your life, coupled with your self-concept, your perception of what life is really about, your perception of spirit, All of these things change the prescription of the lenses that you're wearing, and thus distorts how it is you see the outside world, right? And it's like that for all of humanity. Like how we look, and people say, like, you know, what's going on in your life is a reflection of you. It sounds really fuddy-duddy and woo-woo, but it's a reality in the sense that what's happening is simply happening, you know, but we are the ones who make judgments about what it is that's happening. And the judgments that we make are not necessarily right. They're not necessarily wrong. They're not necessarily correct or incorrect. It's really about, does it serve you or does it not, right? So I say all of that to say, with the Five of Swords, we're speaking about a mental energy that speaks greatly to a conflict, right? So like problem, a block, something that you ran into, and feeling defeated by this in your mind. So that means if I already perceive my situation as being defeated post-conflict, then that's another prescription that's added to my lenses. So now I'm going forward in life, seeing life through this lens of defeat, right? So now every single thing that befalls my life that's happening, and mind you, this is hypothetical just to get my point across, help you guys out here. Everything that crosses my path from that point, I'm going to interpret it from the perspective of defeat, right? Because I'm defeated, you know, and it's more difficult to see opportunities. And I said this with, I can't remember who it was. I know it was someone before Scorpio, but it's more or less when there's opportunities in front of you, like there's things that you could make the best out of a bad situation, or, you know, an opportunity to use creative problem solving. It's difficult to see those opportunities because one's perspective, having already decided that one has been defeated, you start to see everything from that perspective and you can't really see the opportunities. So a lot of times that can start to become oppressive, where you're getting to where the challenge you guys are overcoming this month being the 10 of coins, right? It's almost feeling at the will of life and at the will of your situation. However, going back to what I was saying in the beginning, the world in the reverse is about unfinished business. The energy being here, despite it being in the reverse, means the energy is here. But because of the Five of Swords, that means that one's perspective is seeing an opportunity to learn a very viable lesson to integrate into one's experience and to close out an epic karmic cycle, which is what the entire collective is doing in 2020, and to move forward and to grasp hold of this 10 of Pentacles, right? Which would be a stable foundation, or, you know, a comfortable family life, nest egg, inheritance, all that good stuff, right? As opposed to seeing the opportunity here, it's seeing it as more or less a reflection and a statement of the defeat that one is already feeling, right? So what I was trying to explain in the beginning is like how I understand how you guys are seeing it and why it's orienting me to the past. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing it as there's something that happened back here, which we know now is the Five of Swords, right? That's influencing why these two cards are in the reverse. So this is an opportunity that isn't being seen as one. This is more or less seen as another statement of the defeat that one already came into the energy in December with, if that's making sense, right? And that's what's contributing to our undergirding energy with the Three of Cups in the reverse, which would be where that, you know, lack of joy is coming from, right? Now your underlying energy, again, is the Six of Swords in the reverse. Again, speaking to mental cards, I know y'all are air signs. I'm an air sign rising. Totally get it. With the Six of Swords in the reverse, it's speaking a lower vibration, not like low, like dark vibration, but I mean like minor arcana, lower vibration of a major arcana, the world reverse. The Six of Swords in the reverse is speaking the same thing that the world in the reverse is, and it's a leg thereof of moving forward. So again, I'm seeing the same kind of recycle energy, and I feel that this would resonate a great deal with people who are, not the whole reading, but I mean just this whole pattern thing I'm seeing, would resonate a great deal with my Libra, I don't know why I want to keep saying Cancer, my Libra, Scorpio, Cusp people. So with your underlying energy, we're talking about subconscious influences, emotions, all of everything that is your internal world, right? this is being stuck in tumultuous times, like a emotional chaos. It's almost like an addiction to chaos in so many words, but it's holding oneself back. Why is one holding themselves back? Not just because you want to self-sabotage and just hold yourself back just because it's Wednesday, you know what I mean? It's holding yourself back based on, again, swords. It's a mindset, right? So it's more or less what I'm seeing, the unfinished business here with my Leo people. Why am I saying every single freaking sign in America except for the right one? Anywho, so the main thing that I see with this, and where this relates not just to December, not just to November, but just like all other signs, we're talking about the whole calendar year of 2020. For some of you, this can go as far back as your childhood. You know what I mean? And with all of this, what I'm taking into account is a mindset, like I said with Scorpio, that's affecting an emotional state, right? But it's not just affecting your emotional state, it's also affecting your experiences externally, because everything that you guys are encountering in day-to-day life and may have been encountering for some time is seen through those lenses of the Six of Swords in the reverse and the Five of Swords. So we're talking about conflict and defeat, right? I experience a conflict. It's something that's in opposition to me, right? And I feel defeated to this opposition, right? And I can't move past that with the Six of Swords. So I'm staying in this feeling of defeat. That's what's not being moved past. So it's like literally, and I'm usually not an illustrative kind of person showing cards and things, but it's like, if you're looking at this with this, wait, hold on. I always get it backwards. This is why I don't do this. I make a fool of myself. So with the Six of Swords here, we're talking about moving forward into calmer waters and more stable ground, right? Now, if it's in the reverse, we're not moving forward to calmer waters, which would be calmer emotions. We're staying in like emotional chaos and calamity, right? Because of how it is that we're thinking about things. So we're constantly stuck in this state. It's in a constant state of emotional unrest and fear and what have you. You know what I mean? And it's not moving past our qualifying card, which is the Five of Swords, which again, I don't know why I'm being so repetitive with you guys, but is this feeling of defeatist mindset or a defeatist mentality. And these two are constantly bouncing off each other. So if you look at it, what I feel is following you guys underneath it all is this consistent vibe. These are the lenses that I talked about, that everything is being seen from. So no matter what the situation is, right? And we could literally talk about the way the human eye is set up. Libra, I don't know why y'all reading is going like this. But if we really talk about how the human eye is set up, all of the images that come into our mind are like literally upside down. So more or less, staying with my analogy here, this is what the potential and the opportunity is for you guys this month, right? The challenge was really about rising up to this. However, because of this mindset that's creating an emotional state of stuckness, which tells me that this is one wound that was something temporary that became something permanent. And this is something that's continually been perpetuated over time, is consistently feeling like this. You know what I mean? So even when this is here, it's seen like this, you know, it's being stuck, not being able to move forward. Things still aren't right. I don't have what it is that I need. I'm either emotionally bankrupt, right? Or I'm financially bankrupt, proverbially speaking, you know? So I feel that's what it is that's happening here. Now, why would all of this be coming up? Because there is a transition that everyone in the collective is going through, right? If we talked about this whole 12/21 portal thing that's going on, if we were to go back to the end of September, something that came to your mind then, if we were to go back to the end of October and something that was made clear to you then, right? This is more or less the test. You know, it was like a pre-test in a sense, like a, what do you call those? God, I haven't been in school in so long. A practice test, if you will. It's like the 31st of October, like all the readings that I did then, It's like this was a practice test. This is the real test that determines how it is that you're going to go through 2021. The thing that's being targeted for a lot of people is something that has been with them, not just this year, but more often than not, their entire lifespan. So this is saying more or less to me, Libra, it's a mindset and a perspective, right? A defeatist attitude that is really truly the source of one's unhappiness. It's not necessarily what it is that's occurring. That's not to say that what it is that's happening, that there's not jerk people in your life and things of the sort, but it's more or less how one is perceiving these conflicts or perceiving these crossroads, and it's interpreting them in a way or perceiving them in a way that it's an opposition to you, as opposed to being like it's oppressive, as opposed to it being an opportunity. I hope and pray that that's making sense. Now, your above energy is the 6 of coins in the reverse. So with this, it's more or less a perspective, how this is being interpreted in the mind of the Libra person that resonates with this, is that I put in so much time, energy, effort into so many things, but it never ever works out for me, no matter what I do. No matter how much money I try to save, something always happens and I end up losing my money. No matter how much I try to, work on myself, it's like someone always comes into my life and hurts me. No matter how many people I trust, they always backstab me. No matter how many jobs I get, they always fire me. You know what I mean? No matter how many new cars I buy, they always break down. All of my friends stab me in the back and betray me. Every time I help someone, they always take me for granted or take advantage of me. You know what I mean? Every single time I get so far, the rug gets pulled from under me, right? So it's feeling as if no matter what one does, how much they invest into something, they're never getting a return on their investment. Now, this is a perspective that one has on their experience, right? This world in the reverse, the 10 of coins in the reverse. But this 5 of swords and the 6 of swords in the reverse is telling us why it is that we're seeing our external world with this being a coins card this way. We're not seeing the fruit of the labor that's being put in. But the reason for that, again, this card is in the reverse. All of these cards, except for the 5 of swords, are in the reverse, but do not fear reversals, because it does not mean negative, bad, evil, wrong, dark, low vibrational, demonic, none of those things. It's just simply a perspective, right? So with the 6 of coins in the reverse, right, it's more or less saying the vibration of the 6 of coins is here, but it's blocked, right? Something is off balance. We're in Sagittarius season, right? I always say Sagittarius's vibration is all about going backwards in order to go forwards to hit your target, right? So it's more or less going backwards, doing your self-reflection in the month of December to look back at this year. Those of you who are Wokebookers, looking back at the last 10 years, and seeing the continuous perpetuated pattern throughout the course of this last decade, seeing the perpetual pattern throughout the course of this year, right? And seeing what actions one is taking, what choices or what decision one is making that are causing these things to not work out. You know what I mean? It's like you owe it to yourself to not take this for face value and to dig deeper, right? Because you don't want to just write it off in the sense of feeling like, it's just all of this is just some external force that is trying to tell me somehow, some way that nothing in my life is ever going to work out and like I'm destined to this. You know what I mean? And I mean, even if you put it as a challenge to yourself to attempt to start to work through some of those things, to start challenging some of those mindsets. But I have to say with stuff like this is one of those things, because y'all know that I always say it, when it's time to go see your friendly local neighborhood therapist, doesn't have to be me. You know what I mean? But you cannot solve a problem. It was Einstein who said this. I can't take credit. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it, right? So sometimes when we try to deal with things and think through things, if our perspective is seeing this as a sense of defeat, sometimes you need another unbiased party to come in, right? To say, this is what it is that's going on in my life right now. This is what I've tried to do to fix it. None of that works, right? Do you see anything else? You know what I mean? as opposed to taking that on as like, it's never going to work, you know? And those things I talked about, like when I said with this perspective, there's opportunities that are here that the perspective or the lenses that one is looking through is preventing you from seeing those opportunities. That's okay. All of us end up being there at one point or another. You know what I'm saying? When you go to a therapist for this kind of stuff, it's not saying you got to be diagnosed and all this other kind of stuff and you got something mentally wrong and all these things. It's none of that. It's more or less, I mean, heck, you can go to a life coach for stuff like this too. You know what I'm saying? But this is more or less just coming to someone that doesn't have a vested interest in a decision that you make. You know what I mean? Meaning that they're going to try to influence you to choose a certain type of thing, you know, because they're involved in your life somehow, you know. But and the thing that comes to mind is, like, say hypothetically, you were trying to choose whether or not you wanted to quit your job, you know, and move in a van down by the river. You know, a person who, you know, is your employee, they probably wouldn't want you to do that, and they're going to try to influence your decision because you living in a van down by the river means that they don't have a job. So even though they may know that that's what's best for you, they're going to be like, do you really want to do that? I mean, right? But if you're talking to someone who's a life coach or someone who's a therapist or a social worker or whatever the case may be, you know, it's like, it's an unbiased opinion to where we're going to look at what's important to you. What are you trying to get accomplished? What are the options? What have we tried? What have we not tried? And help you to sort through it to get to a solution. And that's something you could literally do in, you know, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 at the most sessions with solution focused therapy. By the way, that's just a side note, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, but I feel that's more or less the place that you guys are in, Libra. It's like you need someone to come in that you guys can trust to offer you a different perspective on your experience. Because I feel if you continue, if you've tried to get out of this mindset, you know, and you can't, and how we would know that this is a mindset. I'm so sorry that this is so verbose. But how you would know that you're in this mindset, right? How you would know that you've been in this mindset for some time is when you find yourself in conflicting or challenging situations and you always see, think, and believe the absolute worst. You know, I feel with all of this, you guys are being offered an opportunity to come out of this once and for all, and to be able to view life from a balanced perspective, meaning being able to see both the positive attributes of a situation as well as the negative attributes, and using both of these to weigh what your options are to know how to move forward, as opposed to only seeing it from one-sided. You know what I mean? Because this is a very defeatist mindset, you know? Now, going forward, you guys have the Two of Wands. This is exactly what's happening, Libra. You guys are being offered an opportunity to make a choice. And literally, the choice that you guys are being offered, it's whole new territory, right? So like I was saying, that balanced perspective where you can see both the positive as well as the negative, and you can see both sides of it without latching on to one. That's more or less one path forward. The other path is staying where you guys are now, where it's seeing life as if it's happening to you as opposed to for you. And it's possible to change your perspective, right? Now, the thing that I see is here, again, going back to these cards, if we were to put all the cards that are in the reverse upright, meaning your underlying energy is the Three of Cups upright, meaning joy, festivity, connection, community, right? If we looked at this Five of Swords, there's a conflict that happened and you guys might have felt a little defeated. You know what I'm saying? But swords energy move pretty quick. So even though at the end of November, you might have felt that way, you know what I'm saying? But when we're coming into December, we have the Six of Coins in the upright, meaning that even though whatever this is back here didn't work out, or it seemed like you guys were defeated, you get a return on your investment in the month of December, and you guys are going to tangibly see it. The seeds that you sowed, I just cannot talk. The seeds that you guys sowed are going to generate a harvest, and not just any kind of harvest, right? Because the biggest challenge this month with the Ten of Coins upright would be, what are you going to do with all this abundance and stuff? Because this is a lot of stuff. The biggest challenge is going to be trying to figure out, what am I going to do with all this dope stuff and money and people that I love, right? Now, with the world in the upright being the central energy, that's saying that it's a close of an epic karmic cycle, and you guys have learned a valuable lesson from this thing that seemed like it was a defeat, right? Delayed didn't mean denied. You realize that from this temporary little hiccup that happened, that was merely the is not to the is that you guys are walking into, right? So you're moving out of a time that was conflicting into a time now that's very even keeled and balanced, full of joy, where you're surrounded with people that care about you, where your finances are on point. And because you have this stable foundation and this hope for the future, now it's like the sky is the limit. You know, it wouldn't be difficult to make the decision to move forward away from this old cycle, because you know that this old cycle was ball and chain. It was holding you back. It was preventing you from seeing what was really out there and the possibilities that were really available to you. You see what I'm saying? So with these cards being in the reverse, all of this energy is here for you, Libra, and everything I just said, reading these cards upright, I feel all of that is very much possible for each and every person that resonates with this, that is listening. However, there's things that need to be taken care of, and sometimes, looking at this Three of Cups in the reverse too, you guys may be used to dealing with things solo dolo, but I think one of the biggest epic changes, even if we were to look at the 10 of coins that way as well, is to bring other people into your experience. For some of y'all, it might be going to a support group, like say hypothetically, if you're dealing with grief, you know what I'm saying, or a bad breakup or what have you. Support groups are very helpful for things like that, because you're hearing other people that are in the same situation that you're in, and hearing what you are experiencing internally that someone else is going through too, so you feel less alone in said experience, you know. But whatever the case, this is an opportunity for you guys to break away from a habit or a mentality or a mindset or perspective or whatever the case may be that has been with you guys for some time, right? And I really would want to say, Libra, I just feel like I need to say this, I feel this would be really a 10-year thing. You know, I really feel like this would be a 10-year karmic cycle. So we're literally talking about 2010 all the way up until 2020. And I would also say, Libra, to go back to this time last year, you know, and look at the soul session from December of 2019 and see if you see any contrast, any similarities, or any differences, you know. But this is an opportunity for you guys to make a big epic change in your life for the better. The energy is here in support of you. You just may need a little help in seeing that, my friend. So anywho, Libra, that has been your reading. I'm going over to Vimeo, Patreon, YouTube members, and my website to do you guys extended. So if you're about that life, follow me on over there. If not, I still love your face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.